Hi, Murray.
Hey, Ma, how are you?
We just finished recording one of our episodes, and we thought we would hop on here and have a quick little chat about launching because we just put out our very first promo. Murray, I wanted to talk to you about how you're feeling about our finally getting to launch this podcast.
I am so excited. I mean, we've been doing so much work on it for months now. And just the thought of launching it, I'm so excited. And I think it's just the more episodes that we've recorded, I'm learning so much more. I thought I knew so much more about the Caribbean, but I'm learning even so much more. And I'm just finding it someone like me who's entrenched in my Caribbean culture, who's learning, the other people who don't know, they're going to find it just as exciting to learn so much history, cuisine, culture. I'm just loving it. And I just can't wait to share it with everyone.
I'm really excited. It's been brewing in my brain for so long. You and I have been working on this for months and months and months and recording episodes. We just recorded an episode that then needs to go through the process of editing and maybe pulling some clips before we actually put this episode out. But there's a part of me that's feeling so vulnerable and a little bit sick to my stomach about actually putting this out to the public because it's such a personal topic for the both of us.
I
I,
agree. I agree. 1 second I'm excited. And then the next day I'm having night sweats about it.
yes, when I had to hit publish on that very first Instagram post, I don't know, I hit it and I was like, we just have to do it. As we go through our episodes, I know that we're going to get better and better at the tech and at the research and all of the things. But instead of waiting for perfection, we're putting this out there because I think it's really important. And it's a very important to us.
Yes. Yeah. I read a quote this morning and it was so appropriate. I don't know if you've ever heard about this thing called the Artist Way. And it's basically this whole program. And, so much of society, when you're in a creative field, tells you, oh, you have to think logically. And it's about basically finding your art and how to um, be confident in your art. So, perfectionism can be very limiting. And I think we all suffer from it as creative people. But I read this quote earlier today. So I just wanted to share it today. And it says, we always do the best that we can by the light we have to see by. And I think this is a learning process as we're starting a podcast. So right now, we may be doing some things that aren't perfect, but we're doing it by the light we can see by, meaning by the knowledge we have. And as we gain more knowledge, it will get better.
That's very true. It's very true. To be honest, anytime that it is something that you're so passionate about and that it is so personal, for me is when it makes me feel vulnerable. As a freelance marketer, I can put out works for other people and feel very confident in putting it out. And that's because I'm slightly removed from it. And it doesn't feel like if somebody criticizes it, that it is going to feel personal.
Absolutely. When you put your heart and your soul into it, as a food creator, negative comments are par for the course. And at the beginning, I used to take them personally, and I've had to learn to build a very thick skin because people make negative comment, a lot of it based on their own insecurities. You have to look at it and see whether it is constructive criticism, whether it's something you can improve on, or whether it's someone taking out their own insecurities on you.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to have this conversation because after recording a handful of episodes and editing a handful of episodes and starting this process of putting it out into the world, I've learned a few things. And what I've learned is, from my perspective, is growing up in Toronto, which is where I was born and raised. I don't want to speak for you, although you have similar circumstances. I lived very much yes, I am Trinidadian. I come from a Trinidadian family, but based on some of the historical history of the islands, there's so much that I don't know. And I'm recognizing that I know a fair bit about the Caribbean culture and life, but I know it one step removed as somebody born and raised in Toronto. And there's a lot that I'm currently learning, expanding my knowledge, and it's really exciting.
Absolutely. And I agree. We are removed. While I think it's very disheartening when people who actually live in the Caribbean kind of try to take away our Caribbean identity, because it's very much a part of who we are. It's still, we are removed from it. We can, no matter how much we can identify with it, we are not living a Caribbean reality every day of our lives as they are.
In doing the work for these episodes and doing the research, I started to think about all of the times that I went to Trinidad specifically because we went back so often when I was a child. And I look at it now through the lens of understanding that I was a visitor, right? I didn't live the day in and day out life that somebody living there lived. So I have some knowledge and some understanding, but not the complete experience. And through the research that we're doing, through the work that we're doing now, we're gaining, and I'm gaining a much fuller and rounder knowledge, understanding, and appreciation for the Caribbean as a whole.
It's funny you say that because one memory that just comes blasting back to me is, I had gone to Aruba a few times as a child, and I was always with my family. So I'm always, my family, they're not wealthy, but they're, you know, educated professional people. They have nice homes. And I had never seen like a homeless or a destitute person in Aruba because anywhere we went, we got in the car, we drove to wherever we wanted, usually just visiting other family, or if not, going to the beach, restaurants, whatever. The first time I stayed in Aruba as an adult by myself because my aunt was visiting her daughter in Curaçao. So I was literally in the house all by myself. And Aruba's so small, you don't need to know where you're going. Just follow the road, you'll get to where you're going. And I would do that and I would follow different paths. And I saw destitute people. I saw really poor looking people. And I remember I called my mom and I was like, Mommy, there are poor people in Aruba. She's like, of course there are. There are poor people everywhere. And I must have been about 20 already at the time. Going as a child, also in a child's world, you're mostly about your family. You don't look as much at outside people.
That's a really good point, is that every time we visited these countries, whether it was Aruba or Trinidad or Haiti or wherever, and went to visit family, it was an insular experience. We had the experience that was kind of curated for us, in that we saw a family, we saw the culture, we saw the neighborhood that they lived in, the beach or the beach that they took us to, but the everyday average things that somebody living there experienced were not part of my experience. And like you, I sought some of that out as I got older and went back as an adult to see different parts of the country and learn a little bit more. I just wanted to share that some of the insights that I've gained while doing the research for this podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's just been interesting to, even though I always knew each island was unique, especially some of the smaller islands, even though my family comes from smaller islands, there's still so much. Places like Anguilla and Montserrat. These are small islands I know virtually nothing about, and I'm so excited to learn.
Me too. I just wanted to have a quick conversation and see how you were feeling as we are embarking on launching these episodes, launching the podcast, putting out all of our hard work into the world.
I'm as excited as you and are just like counting the days.
Well, thank you so much, Marae. And thank you for everybody for listening and joining us, whether you're seeing this on social media or you're listening on YouTube or one of your favorite podcast networks. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you in one of the next episodes.